Hey there, everybody. Jay Jackson here. I know it's been a while. How you been? I'm doing all right. I am recording from my work office for a change, so if I sound a little different, that might be why. If you've been following me on social media, you know had a few little technical problems with my computers and stuff. I am not a technical wizard nor music master, but I'm back, and today, if you saw the description, this is a special episode. This is my personal top albums of 2019. We are not flashing back to the 80s today. We are staying in the present. And the reason why I'm doing this is, well, number one, I want to do a test run to make sure this is working and everything. And number two, with my Lisbon podcast hosting site, I'm allowed what works out to be about an episode a month. And with this being the end of December, I think I'm going to get this one out to you before New Year's Eve. And then you'll have the brand new episode of February 1982 on your doorstep New Year's Day. All right. So, top 5 albums. I have an eclectic kind of musical style, which you'll see very shortly. Like all kinds of stuff. So, we're going to kick it off with my number 5 is by a duo called Reverend Beatman and Isabel Garcia. That's Reverend Beatman, a Swiss musician and owner of Voodoo Rhythm Records, teaming up with sister Nicole Isabel Garcia for their first album titled Baile Bruja Muerto, which translates into Dead Witch Dance. And that was a little bit of their title track, the lead-off track, which is titled Per Te Amor.
Just keep on walking down the streets. When I saw a pretty little girl standing there with the high heel shoes, I mean, his skirt on, and she said that Jesus will come back and Satan will grow up her back. And I saw my baby, I saw that Satan grab my baby. Come on, wow, just keep on walking. Oh, keep on talking. Oh, keep on walking. Come back to me. Come back to me. Oh, Lord. Come back to me. Come back to me. Oh, Lord. Come back to me. Wow. Come back, Lord. Come back, Lord.
Matthew Hutchison sums up the duo as, quote, an eccentric, heavy blues-playing Swiss priest screaming lyrics of hellfire, the Lord, salvation, and other facets of sin in Swiss, German, and English, while a stoic Angelino nun blares farfisa riffs over the crowd. That was a reworking of an older Reverend Beatman song titled Come Back Lord. They aren't all about the originals. They pull off a few cover songs on this album, including Love Me 2 Times by The Doors and Black Metal by the 80s metal band Venom.
Yeah, freaking so wild, nobody smiled, giving it all that you've got. Wild is the night, metal tonight, faster than over the top. Yeah, open the door, enter hell's core, black is the god of the night. Yeah, baby, atomic force, feel no remorse, crack up the amps, now it's the night for black metal. Yeah, black metal. Oh, black metal. Yeah, baby, it's black metal.
That's Reverend Beatman and Isabel Garcia, my 5th favorite album of the year, Baile Bruja Muerto. My number 4 favorite album of the year is by Gary Clark Jr., and it's called This Land. Gary Clark Jr. comes straight out of Austin, Texas, and he has paid his dues to earn a spot in the rock and roll world. He broke into the scene about 10 years ago, has performed with Sheryl Crow, Alicia Keys, the Foo Fighters, Tech Nine, and Childish Gambino. He had his first solo charting single in 2017 with a cover of the Beatles' Come Together. This is his 3rd album. This Land was released last March.
Friday night and I just got paid. I'm out looking for some trouble. I know I'm about to spend it all. You're not looking for a lover, but I got eyes for you, baby, don't see no one else. The way you move, I can't help myself. The way you shake it, baby, shake it, make me feel alright. You got me feeling like $1,000,000, make me wanna fall in love, baby, when you put it on me. You got me feeling like $1,000,000, make me wanna fall in love, baby, when you put it on me. You got me thinking you the one, you the one, you the one, girl. You the one, you the one, you the one, girl. Got me feeling like $1,000,000, make me wanna fall in love, baby, when you put it on me.
Stephen Thomas Irwin of Pitchfork says, Gary Clark works these lush, layered sounds into a sharply executed piece of roots pop, enlivening retro cliches through keen hooks and imaginative juxtapositions. It's a tough word. This album may be informed by old sounds and forms, yet these familiar tropes feel fresh thanks to Clark's idiosyncratic splicing and cross-cultural pan-genre sensibility that speaks to a modern world as a whole. That was Gotta Get Into Something from Gary Clark's latest album titled This Land, my number 4 favorite album of 2019. Number 3 is a band called The Coathangers, and their latest album is called The Devil You Know. Here's a bit of the track 5 Farms.
Sister over here steals her share, so take what you can. It's your burden to bear.
The Devil You Know is the 6th album from the Coathangers, this all-girl trio out of Atlanta. They released their debut in 2009 and become a favorite of talk show host Carson Daly. They've appeared on his Late Late Show numerous times over the years. The 3 band members of the Coathangers all share the lead vocals on this record, which giving the album a good mix of old school rock and roll, 80s girl group pop, and 90s riot girl grunge. I think Matthew Slaughter of Drowned in Sound summed it up well when he said, quote, "The Devil You Know is a vital and exciting record, one which gathers up the past and pointedly thrusts it into the present. The Coathangers go for the throat and draw blood, pleasingly and memorably at every opportunity." That's my number 3 album of 2019, The Devil You Know by the Coathangers. My number 2 favorite album of 2019 is by a few artists you may have heard of. One of them you surely know of his family. It's by the Claypool Lennon Delirium, and the album is called South of Reality. That was a bit of Blood and Rockets, the lead-off track from the latest from the Claypool Lennon Delirium, a project consisting of Les Claypool of Primus and Sean Lennon, the son of Yoko Ono and John Lennon. So if you hear a little bit of the Beatles influence in there, that's where that comes from. The duo played all the instruments on this album to create what is essentially pretty much what you might expect in a Primus Beatles team-up. And I think it's pretty cool. That's a bit of the title track, South of Reality. This is their second full-length album. The duo originally started to talk about doing a project back when Primus toured with Lennon's band, The Ghost of a Saber-Toothed Tiger, back in 2015. Tom Moon of NPR had this to say about the record. Quote, South of Reality is defined by a balance of opposing forces. Lennon and Claypool complement each other in a sweet and savory way, just like John and Paul did. Sure, there are echoes of the Beatles, how could there not be? But these echoes serve as points of musical departure and lead to unexpected, often beautiful destinations that feel way more 2019 than 1969. That one's called A Toady Man's Hour from South of Reality by the Claypool Lennon Delirium, my second favorite album of 2019. Just to let you know, if any of these songs kind of tickle your fancy, you can find all these tracks on Spotify, so give the whole album a listen. And if you like it even more, then go buy the album and support these acts. There's some good stuff. And my top album of 2019 is by a group out of Orlando, Florida. They're called the Shabooms, and they put out their debut album this year titled Blurred Odyssey. The Shabooms describe themselves as garage soul. They have the elements of many influences, including 60s rock, punk, surf, but I really hear that old Motown school, undoubtedly due to the powerful lead vocals of Brenda Radney. Behind her is an amazing 8-piece band featuring a tight rhythm section and horns, which unabashedly have that soul feel, but also are reminiscent of some ska punk stuff. Call it garage soul, call it R&B rock, call it whatever you want. The Blurred Odyssey by the Shabooms is a near perfect rock and roll record. Radney belts out vocals throughout, which remind us of a young Aretha Franklin. Al Ruiz provides some great background vocals to complement her well. Check out the shared leads on this track, King and Queen.
That's
Michelle Cooney of Spill magazine says, quote, "The Shabooms have fashioned a style that would be at home in both a classy club or a dingy punk bar. The Blurred Odyssey is a musical journey, one that tells the tale of a band that has found its way to a powerful and original sound." I couldn't agree more, Michelle, and that's why the Shabooms' Blurred Odyssey is my favorite album of 2019. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Coming up in a day or two, depending on when this one comes out, is the new real episode of Pop History Podcast, where we look at February 1982. We're going to take it out with a little bit more of the Shabooms. This one's called Detox to Retox.
Yes,